And so just want you to know. Man, I looked at that smile on your face just now. Mm-hmm. And the first time I ever wished I was a photographer to take that picture and let the world see that honesty and that integrity. And know some of the things I know, how you drive all over the country to chase us down. Chase us down. Okay? We move so fast. I don't know if you're married. I don't know if you're a family. I don't know if you're a wife. Okay? But when we get on here, we bosom friends. Anytime I see you, I stop whatever I'm doing. Hey, my man, how are you? Hey. Hey, man, what, that's, I owe that to you. It's the obligation that you have. How old are you?
Oh, 36.
So you don't have the right to do what 36 people do. You don't have the right to go to the dance or go to the party. You don't have a right to take that trip to Europe when I might need that plane fare to fly somebody else to feed my people that love me. Mm-hmm. You feed them. Oh, it's one thing being hungry from food. Right. There's another thing being hungry for information.
That's right.
And that's you, the feeder. You got to be the farmer. You got to grow the crop. Huh? You got to till the grain. And at nighttime, when you hear something that sounds like water, you got to go and see if the crop's going to be flooded. That's your job, man.
Guess who's back? Back again. Brother run. Tell a friend. Guess who's back? Guess who's back? Guess who's back? Guess who's back? It's me, y'all. What's up, Black? It's Brother Runs. We all be news free Dixie for the 21st century. This is We All Be news free Dixie for the 21st century. All right. I can change my voice a little bit. This is Brother Ron. It's good to be on here with you all. Glorious Monday, grand rising in the afternoon. Bobby Dick Gregory used to say, if you want the truth to come out about something, you pray at noon. We got to pray. We got to pray. We got to pray just to make it today. Y'all remember that MC Hammer? Hammer was the man. Y'all, see, that's what I'm saying. Like, people act like they wasn't rocking them Hammer pants. You was rocking with MC Hammer. They put me in the mix. Hammer, I am Hammer. They put me in the mix. They put me in the mix. They put me in the mix. These are the breaks. Okay? So we're going to let that room pile on up. If you like the words from Brother Hurd, please subscribe to hear the word from Brother Hurd. You heard me? We All Be TV on YouTube. Support the movement to get you grooving in the movement. Support it. You can work, cash out, jam your support $sign R2C2H2. It's the R to the 2 to the C to the 2 to the H to the 2. You know how we do. Google Pay, PayPal, Zelle your support, R2C2H2 @gmail.com. That's Google Pay, PayPal, Zelle your support at R2C2H2 @gmail.com. You can Vimo that support at R2C2H2. And you can join us on Patreon at We All Be. That's patreon.com/We All Be. It's going to be an amazing week, y'all. I got some amazing shows, some amazing content coming y'all way. I don't know, man. I'm just I'm in my zone right now. What is March retrograde right now? And I'm a Taurus. So I'm in my wheelhouse right now. I'm a Taurus. I'm a bull in a china shop right now. I'm about to wreck some stuff up. I'm shaking. I shook the world. I shook the world. I shook it up. Shaking up the world, man. It's my time. Man, I'm just so free now. I want to thank Kanye. Yeezy. Yeezy taught me. I want to thank Kyrie. He a little bit scared. He dipped his toe in the water. He ain't like the temperature of the water, but get back in that water, Kyrie. We got you, man. Get back in the water, man. We got you. It's time to rise up, man. It is time. It's been a long time. We forgot that we knew who we knew, that we knew who we knew who we knew. I don't know why I just said something like that. Y'all get it. But this is a great time to be alive, actually. As a black male, you got to choose if you want to be a man or a male or a schmale or whatever pronoun, but it's time to pick a side. It's time to play for a team. Every day you live is a game 7. Forget about sports. Sports ain't nothing when you live in a purpose-driven life. When you live in life like you're supposed to live life, you don't need distractions like sports and movies and crap like that. Enough of this stuff. Real life is better than fantasy. Reality is just agreed upon fantasy. See, the thing about it is, I could talk on here for 2 hours. It'll be time better spent just me talking about the things I've read, about the people I converse with over my travels, than you just watching foosball. We're gonna call that foosball. You know, big grown men, man-child, you know, going around running up and down the field, up and down the court, afraid to be who they was meant to be. You a God, and you let them make you into a toy. You a God, and you let them make you into a toy, a plaything, something not to be taken seriously. These same folks, billionaires telling millionaires what to do. Every day you look at these so-called sports shows, networks, they always talking about, are you worth what you getting paid? They on Dak Prescott overpaid. Lamar Jackson, he gonna mess up his payday. But the owners have bad seasons. They never have a bad season because they always making money. They always making money. The people that got the least talent in this system makes the most money. The people in the music business with the least talent have the most money. They control the publishing. They control the masters. You can only serve one master. I ain't talking about your favorite singer. Oh, she can't sing, or he can't sing, he can't rap, she can't rap. I'm talking about the people who make the decisions to tell the radio to play the person who can't sing or who can't rap all day long, all night long. Those are people that have a talent for exploiting other people's talent who don't realize their value or worth. Once you realize your value and your worth, that's when you become labeled as difficult. That's when you become labeled as troubled, okay? We're going to talk about the new slaves. There's me and myself and I. There's you. Whoever listening to this right now, you a slave too. See, y'all want to trip on Kanye, right? Listen to the song New Slaves. You don't listen to any Kanye West song. Listen to the song New Slaves. He called himself a slave in that song. He's a slave to retail, the name brands and everything like everybody else. Everybody's a slave to something. If you have an addiction, you are a slave to something. So I'm gonna spend this edutainment segment talking about, you know, freestyling, you know, Kanye and Kyrie, and we're gonna talk about a little bit about the Migos Takeoff situation. What will be get back on code, because black folks like to make things very abstract and vague. We're going to discuss what a code really looks like. Instead of saying you off code, you on code, let's discuss what that really looks like. Okay. And then I want people who's hearing the sound of my voice to make a conscious decision to create your own code, your own moral compass. Revisit that, please. Do not let society dictate to you what is right or wrong. Laws are not based on morality. Laws are not based on morality. Laws are not based on morality. Remember, slavery was legal, right? And it's still legal. Like, I'm in Tennessee, right? I'm tired of voting. All this voting. We should have had it vote just one time. They want me to vote a third time tomorrow. Enough is enough. I'm going to read a disclaimer. I don't represent the views of anybody but myself as an individual, free-thinking, so-called black person. Enough is enough. People up here, they sending me, spamming me with emails and texts talking about, you got to get out and vote in Tennessee because They still got slavery on the books. Lord Jesus. Fried chicken, watermelon, and slavery still existing. Lord have mercy. I'm not voting for that. I don't care. You know why? Because the 13th Amendment never abolished slavery. The 13th Amendment never abolished slavery. The 13th Amendment never abolished slavery. I'm doing my Dr. Umar thing. Hypnotize me. Hypnotize me. Hypnotize me. So, no, slavery never been aborted, abolished, vanished, vamoosh. It never been. So for you to use scare tactics and say, well, you know, if we don't vote tomorrow, then y'all still singing. Y'all still sashaying and samboing and cakewalking. No, twerking nothing but cakewalking. Take a look. It's all online. What's cakewalking? What's twerking? Same difference. So my thing is this. All that voting talk is about as dead as your chances for you know what if you keep on voting the same old way. Now, I would say this. This is interesting. Why I know the power group thing, right? People are always saying this really weird thing. They say, well, if you do the same thing over and over again and expect different results, then that's called insanity. No, it's not called insanity. If you do the same thing over and over again and expect different results, it's called practice. Practice what you preach. It's called practice. Like when people go to the gym and do reps, that's doing the same thing over and over again, right? So what's the purpose of doing the same thing over and over again if you're not going to get a different result? See, y'all let people think, or even like the crabs in the barrel. They like crabs in the barrel. One trying to get out, the other pull them down. You know, crabs don't supposed to exist in a barrel, right? In a barrel, crabs are not supposed to exist. That's not their natural habitat. That's why. And then it's hot at the bottom, and you trying to get out. It's like when a person is drowning. A lot of times, sometimes, unfortunately, when you try to save a drowning person, the person trying to save the drowning person ends up drowning with the drowning person. You could be an expert swimmer and still end up losing your life trying to save somebody that's drowning. See, self-preservation is the number one rule of nature. Like when you're on a plane, what they tell you do. In case of emergency, the oxygen mask come out. What do you do first? Do you put on somebody else, or do you put yours on first, and then you help somebody else put theirs on? See, black folks been told we help everybody but ourselves. We always got to be last. We don't think about ourselves enough to be selfish. The people that get ahead in the system, they know how to be selfish with their resources when it comes to other groups. They could be generous with their group, but they are selfish with other groups that's competing, because this is called racism. We are in a race, in a competition for resources, for positioning, for leverage. And black folks still don't understand that's what this game is about. It's not about morality. It's not about morality when it comes to group dynamics. It's more about let's secure what we got secure. Let's identify the objective and let's go after it. Now, you got a problem here where this is how weird it is, like with the Kyrie Irving thing, is that this man is losing millions of dollars. He might lose his career. He may lose his career, and that's unfortunate, just for posting something on social media, on his platform, where he has millions of followers, just posting. Meanwhile, this same thing that he posted is still available on Amazon. The book, the documentary is still available on Amazon. The book that the documentary is based on, I heard it was a #1 seller in the religious section books of the religious book section of Amazon. From what I heard, I have not thoroughly investigated, but the documentary, as of when I saw it early this morning, it is still available on the platform to rent and own. Kyrie was not even a paid spokesperson for this product that he placed on his social media platform. Kyrie has paid $500,000 and counting because he's losing millions of dollars. I think Nike freezed his shoe brand or whatever. So he's losing untold amounts of money and, stress and all this just for having an opinion about something, just for sharing some information. He is called an idiot. He is treated like a child. Black males are in a state of arrested development. And they feel fit to punish him some more. That's the proof of point. That's anti-Kemetic. 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 Anti-black. 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 And the fact that he could get done like this shows how weak black people as a group are. Even if you don't want to call yourself black, Hebrew Israelite, or whatever you want to be, you're more. If you cannot enforce your identity by any means, especially do you have a standing army? Do you have a sovereign nation to enforce your identity? Do you have your own currency to enforce your identity? If you do not have these things, then you're not standing on anything. Where's the backup for Kyrie? Where's the black version of the Anti-Defamation League? Where's the black version of the Anti-Defamation League? Where's the black version of the Anti-Defamation League? Don't even say the NAACP. Don't say the National Association for the Advancement of Color People. You know who did found that, right? Yeah, some black tokens on there. You had Du Bois. You had Ida B. Wells. He has a couple few, but it's really found by Jewish people. Jewish people found the National Association for the Advancement of Color People. Look what happened when black folks try to find something for black people. Like, for example, the United Negro Improvement Association. What happened to that organization? People say, oh, it still exists. I mean, but if it exists, how come we still have issues with police brutality? You don't even hear about Jewish people having any issues with police brutality. I don't anyway. If somebody know about it, please send me some links. Inform me, enlighten me. I'm open to receiving information. I'm not closed-minded as people make me out to be, but they want to label me a troublemaker because my job is to heighten contradictions. I am heightening contradictions. I am heightening contradictions. How is it that Kyrie Irving is punished this severely? Because really what they're going to end up doing is keeping him out the Hall of Fame. They're probably going to blackball him. This may be his last year in the NBA. The way he's been treated. He's been bullied. People say they're anti-bullying. They're against bullies, right? But these are the biggest bullies. These corporations, these sports leagues, these are some of the biggest bullies on the planet. And they picking on Kyrie. He didn't advocate violence against any group of people. He was trying to advocate for knowledge of self. And you got people here demeaning the documentary. I haven't seen it yet. It's 3.5 hours long. But if I could look at a football game in the last 4 hours, I could look at a basketball game in the last 3 hours, I could look at a baseball game in the last 5 hours, I could look at this 3.5 hour documentary that a brother took the time to put together, to do the research, because people critiquing the documentary, that ain't even the point. The point is, are they policing people's thoughts? Certain types of people. Why is that certain type of people are not free to address their grievances, are not free to point at the people who may be members of certain groups that have historically caused these grievances and continue to cause them? Why is that a problem? How can we get reparations if we can't point the finger at the parties that's responsible for us needing reparations? And there's a lot of entities, not just one group, because people get it twisted. It's not just one group, and you can't blame all people in one group. It's like saying that all Italians are members of the mob. They're part of the mafia. That's not true. A small percentage of Italians are members of the mafia. And like all black people were not members. of the Black Panther Party. All black people are not members of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference. All black folks are not members of any other thing. Well, I tell people all the time, listen to Malcolm X's message to the grassroots. The anniversary is coming up November 10th, 1963, right? November 10th. That's our Veterans Day message. Listen to the message to the grassroots that Malcolm talk about. He don't care if you're Muslim or Christian. He don't care what you do. Join an organization that's about helping your people, that put your people needs and issues and agendas first. There is no organization in so-called black land, in black America, that put black folks' needs first. None of the black politicals, none of the black folks running for office help on their agenda anything to advocate for the advancement of black people. And yeah, there are independents running, but I'm talking those that are financed by the real Bloods and Crips, the Republicans and the Democrats, the real Blood and Crips, right? And we all in the same game. They're two wings of the same bird. It's like wrestling. You got the heroes, you got the villains, the heels. They all golfing buddies. They all fishing buddies. They all the best man at their other person's wedding, right? You think they're enemies, but they're really frenemies. They all in it. And the biggest joke on the people that I feel ashamed, that I made to feel ashamed when they don't show up to the polls. Only group of people they try to shame into showing up into the polls are black people. There are other groups of people that don't vote, but they got more power at the table than black folk. There are other groups and entities and individuals that don't care about no vote. All they care about is paying for what they want. They treat politics like a buffet. They pay for what they want. They take what they want, and that's it. They don't waste hours and hours in the rain trying to vote for a person who don't even know you exist, because they don't answer to you. They answer to those groups and entities that write them big checks that don't bounce. They don't care about your light bill situation. They don't care about you about being evicted. All they do, they want to do selfies. All these young group of young black politicians, all they seem to care about a lot of times, with few exceptions, is taking selfies and getting likes and views with no substance. We're a long way from where we could have been 60 years ago, 55 years ago. We're a long way from that. But I don't feel it's too late. But the thing about it is, the black folks that got the money, they not for the black people. The black people that have money, they don't help black people. One thing about Jewish people that Kanye or Ye pointed out, so they help their own. It's their religion to take care of their group. Group economics is a part of their religion. Taking care of each other, investing in each other is a part of their religion. I'm in Memphis where I do amazing things with no money, because I know I'm one of the chosen people, because I don't see how I can do things with no budget. We get venues, we get people to buy into what we're doing at the We All Be Group Incorporated with no funds, with no deep pockets, and we pull it off. And it amazes the folks that's waiting for us to fail every time we do the unthinkable, the so-called impossible. Because power is not about money. It's not about your name. It's not about who knows you. It's about your ability to identify an objective and to get it done. Get her done. Get her done. Get her down. Get her done. Get it done. That's about it. I'm always getting stuff done. I'm not just being busy. I'm being productive. A lot of us are busy, but we're not being productive. When I mean productive, I mean, are you producing something? Are you producing a product? Are you producing a result? Are you just don't know what to do with yourself? You're just out and about. Cause like, if you a grown person, hear me well. If you one of them grown people that's always bored, then you're not living life right. That's why you need all that sports and all that stuff in your life. Because if you was living your life right, you wouldn't even waste your time watching sports right now. And sports is a waste of time. It's bread and circuses. It's a waste of time. Because I wish that a lot of us were as passionate about getting our rights and humanity recognized as well about our favorite football team or basketball team or baseball team. I wish you had as much joy into getting your life to the next level as you do to seeing your team succeed in the next round of playoffs. I wish you lived your life like every day was game 7, because guess what? Every day living is a game 7. It's a possible day of your demise, of your elimination. And a lot of y'all would never know y'all was unhappy with your situation because y'all laughing too much. Y'all hooping and hollering too much. But like Marvin Gaye said, makes me want to holler the way they do my life. It's not make me want to holler how they didn't call that foul on so-and-so. Or when they score that touchdown. It makes me want to holler the way they do my life. Okay? My life, my life, my life, my life. Okay? So we got to get focused. We got to get an agenda. We got to see what this code is. And a lot of things will come to code. Stop putting everything you know online. Stop telling everybody every move you're going to make, every strategy, every da-da-da-da. Go somewhere, create you a think tank, get with your tribe, create a plan, and plan to act on that plan. It was a black woman back in the 19th century who financed John Brown, the abolitionist, the one that Dick Gregory loves so much. He said he's the greatest American, right? John Brown, the abolitionist, the white man who knew that slavery was an evil that needed to be abolished 100%, was backed financially by a black woman from California, Mary Ellen Pleasant. I think I'm saying Mary Ellen Pleasant. I think that's her name. Let me look it up right quick. It is so much to talk about besides sports. I don't care about sports right now. It's horrible. The fact that they do a black man the way they do him and nobody say nothing. Y'all let him get lynched by the news media complex. Y'all talking about black people getting killed by police. But to kill your morale, to assassinate your character, in many ways is a worse death than a physical one. To have your character assassinated, to have your manhood emasculated and castrated, it's worse than a physical death. In many ways. Yeah, Mary Ellen Pleasant, look her up. She was a wealthy landowner from California, but she helped finance the raid on Harper's Ferry via John Brown for what be in today's money almost $1 million. And she said towards the end of her life, that was some of the best well-spent money that she ever spent because she helped cause the Civil War to free her people. Let my people go. Let my people go. Let my people go. And see, we talked about Terry Crews a couple years ago, right? Everybody talked about Terry Crews. Even I was getting on Terry Crews. How could he let this white guy grab him like that in front of his wife? But I think all these guys are missing those balls. Not just Terry Crews. A lot of our black males are missing them big ones. You let them hang, when you let them swing, they rather swing from basketball rims than let those things swing and let them hit and let them land where they may. Let them land where they may. But we don't have that no more. We don't have Muhammad Ali. We don't have a Jim Brown in his prime. We don't have a Paul Robeson. We don't even know who Paul Robeson was. We don't have a lot of people. If you look at the people that we celebrate, those troublemakers, those trailblazers, those icons, those iconoclasts, they didn't have a lot of support from us. A lot of times they was by themselves in the wilderness, like a Kanye or Ye or Yeezy. He's by himself in the wilderness. You know, a shout out to Jason Whitlock. Y'all call him a raccoon, all this. Y'all say he was one of those raccoons. But yeah, he's more of a man standing up on his square than a lot of you people that celebrate folks in the mainstream, that y'all love to watch their sports shows. That's your favorite former basketball, football player. They trash. They're just trash. Trash, trash, trash. I don't care if I ever go to another sports activity again. If I watch another so-called professional sports game, I don't care. Because these men lack the character. They lack the character. They lacking character. I don't want to be like Mike or any of those guys. They're not worth it. They sorry. How can you be this big buck, strong? You can, beat up on your brother. You could slap him and punch him in practice, but when it comes to standing up to your real enemy, you ain't say a mumbling word, but to chastise your own, but to demean and bully your own. You nothing but a bunch of cowards. Bunch of cowards. You know what's funny? It's always been in the back of my mind. It's how weak and sorry we are as a group of black men, so-called black men. And I'm gonna look at sports. You know, Tom Brady and Barry Bonds went to the same high school, right? Of course, Barry Bonds is older than Tom Brady, but they both went to the same high school. I don't know what they was doing out there to produce people like that, but they were doing something right at that high school, right? Barry Bonds is my favorite baseball player. He is arguably the greatest baseball player who ever lived, and he's still alive. He is the greatest baseball player. See, when y'all love Ken Griffey, and Ken Griffey Jr. was great, Barry Bonds was always my guy. When he was the Pittsburgh Pirates, I love Barry Bonds. I love his swagger. I love his confidence. I love his dedication to his craft, right? And Dusty Baker, the manager of the Houston Astros, shout out to him, finally won a World Series championship, rightfully so. He is definitely a Hall of Fame manager. But 20 years earlier, and that's the crazy thing about it, it was 20 years ago, around this time, that Dusty Baker was the manager of the San Francisco Giants. And they had Barry Bonds. Barry Bonds was doing some amazing things with that baseball bat that have never been seen in the history of baseball. Nobody comes close to what Barry Bonds done in his baseball career, where he actually reversed, you get into your late 30s and your early 40s, you're on decline in baseball. But Barry Bonds reversed it and found the fountain of youth. I don't know how he found the fountain of youth. They never proved that he broke any law. See, that's why I keep on saying he a steroid. They never proved he took anything. They could never prove that he broke any law legally. And Barry Bonds was having an amazing World Series. They almost won. I think they went to Game 7 against the Anaheim Angels, Los Angeles Angels, Anaheim, California, what they called themselves at the time. And they should have won that World Series. And Dusty was labeled a person who was not good with managing young players. He wore the hell out of his pitcher arms. And I would say he did wear his pitchers out, because even when he was a Chicago manager, remember when that fan interfered with a catch, right? A foul ball. He caught it, and they blamed him for the Cubs losing. But the Cubs ended up winning eventually years later, of course. But Dusty was managing the Chicago Cubs then. And he had some great pitching aces. And I think he wore them out. He left them in for too many innings and blew their arms out. But they chose to stay in the game, I guess. But he was some all-star level pitchers he had. These two white boys. I forgot. I think one of them name was Kerry Wood, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know. Don't hold me to it. Chicago people, you know who I'm talking about. You're a Chicago Cubs fan. Right? But Dusty would leave them in for long periods of time and blew their arms out. And but I think he's the only manager in the history of baseball to take 5 different teams deep into the playoffs. But he finally won one at 73, and it was a relief for him, and rightfully so. He's a great baseball manager, and did it with a team that had a cloud of suspicion on them, because when the Houston Astros won their first World Series about 5 years ago, it came out that they were actually cheating. They were cheating to win the World Series. And baseball is a hypocrite, because baseball is a game built on cheating. It's built on having edges, right? Using cork bats to make the ball jump a little bit longer. Spitballs, all type of stuff. Putting pine tar on the bat. The great George Brett put pine tar on the bat. Whatever they did. It's just a lot of crazy stuff with baseball. The fact that baseball Hall of Fame is in Cooperstown, that is the birth hometown of Abner Doubleday, the guy they said invented baseball. But the thing about it is, Abner Doubleday never invented baseball. He may have never played baseball, let alone invented. And the reason why we know that, because in the early days, the baseball, MLB, Major League Baseball, financed a research project to find out about the origins of baseball. They found out that Allen Doubleday did not invent baseball, but they went along with the lie anyway and had Baseball Hall of Fame placed in Cooperstown. So they're all trying to give you an understanding that baseball is a game built on cheating. And like what Joe Kennedy said, the patriarch of the Kennedy family, it's only cheating or it's only a crime if they catch you. It's not a crime unless they catch you. It is not a crime unless they catch you. Like yesterday, November 6th, was the 94th anniversary of the death of Arnold Rothstein, who is known as the Brain, who is known as the Big Bankroll. He is the godfather of organized crime. Y'all keep on thinking, y'all think about the mob, y'all always think about Italians. Now, it was the Jewish mobsters that trained the Italians, that trained the Irish how to do the thing. And Arnold Rothstein was a mentor to Lucky Luciano, the so-called father, the George Washington of La Cosa Nostra, modern organized crime. He trained Lucky Luciano. He trained Meyer Lansky, Benjamin Bugsy Siegel, Frank Costello, Vito Genovese, Jack Legs Diamonds, Dutch Schultz. All these gangsters were trained by this dude. He died from gunshot wounds after disputing a debt owed at an alleged rigged poker game. This is back November 6, 1928. They said he owed, in what would be today's money, over $5.5 million. He owed over $5.5 million. And he disputed that because allegedly the game was rigged. So this was not Jay Prince Jr. or Jazz Prince or Mob Ties or Houston, Texas, or there was no rap around back then. Hip hop wasn't around. There was no rap music being played. The popular music of the day was jazz, right? People was doing the Charleston, not the stanky leg. They were doing the Charleston, okay? So he died from the gunshot wounds he received for arguing over a debt that in today's money would amount to over $5.5 million. He was accused of fixing the 1919 World Series, right? The Black Sox scandal. The Chicago White Sox, I think they played the Cincinnati Reds, Stockings or Cincinnati Reds. 8 players on Chicago White Sox was accused of throwing the game for Arnold Rothstein. He said he didn't do it. It wasn't me. It wasn't me. But they ended up suspending those 8 baseball players for life, one of them being the great shoeless Joe Jackson. Phenomenal baseball player that Ray Liotta, of all people, played in the Field of Dreams. And really, that was a miscast. Now, Field of Dreams is a classic sports movie, one of the greatest sports movies of all time. But to have Ray Liotta play a country bumpkin from South Carolina named Shoeless Joe Jackson, that was kind of like a miscast, but it nevertheless was an iconic role. No, Ray Liotta did not sound or look like no Shoeless Joe Jackson. You know, but Shoeless Joe, whether right or wrong, was banned for life from baseball. And he really should be in the Baseball Hall of Fame because in the World Series, I think he hit like 375. I mean, he was a phenomenal hitter, one of the greatest hitters of all time. And he really should be in the Baseball Hall of Fame because like the way he played the game in the World Series, he didn't throw a game. He played at a high level. So it's weird how they did that. But baseball, ironically, is a game built on cheating and deception, yet they punish their best cheaters. Pete Rose should be in the Hall of Fame. He got more hits than anybody in the history of baseball and won championships with the Red Machine, the big Red Machine of the 70s. You know, Johnny Bench and the brother, the black guy who passed away not too long ago, who didn't like Barry Bonds. But anyway, it's crazy. But I'll think about Barry Bonds, right? They robbed Barry Bonds of 3 years of his playing career. He had 3 years quite possibly left in him to play baseball at a high level. 3 years he had. Why do we know this? Because Barry Bonds never officially retired. He kept on waiting for a phone call. His contract was up with the Giants. He kept on waiting for a phone call. His agent kept on saying, well, Barry, Could still be of use. He could, he could play designated hitter. I think they got DH now because Albert Pujols was able to play for the Cardinals. He retired with the Cardinals. And Albert Pujols played a little bit longer than Bonds, but Bonds had better numbers. And Albert Pujols was a beast in his prime. But what I'm saying is, Willie Mays, Barry Bonds' godfather, said that arguably the greatest baseball player. See, that's his godfather. He came from baseball royalty. His daddy, Bobby Bonds, was a hell of a baseball player. Member of the 30-30 Club, 30 home runs and 30 stolen bases. Barry Bonds did it several times. Barry Bonds is an amazing specimen of an athlete. Okay? He had at least 3 more years left. He was just a couple of hits away from 3,000 hits. Just a couple of RBs away, several RBIs, run batted in. He was a couple of RBIs away or several RBIs away from 2,000 RBIs. Barry Bonds could have ended up having over 800 plus home runs had they allowed him to play out his baseball career like he should have. Meanwhile, Tom Brady is allowed to play as long as he wants. They could let Tom Brady play till he's 50 because Tom Brady, in spite of his struggles this season, is still got something left in the tank. But imagine if they would have allowed Barry Bonds to play out his career naturally, because he never was found guilty of taking anything in a court of law. But they railroaded that man, and the reason why they was okay with railroading him is because the media didn't thought he was playing nice with them. Oh, Barry won't do an interview with us. Oh, Barry wasn't nice to us. Now, I know Barry probably regretted now that he wasn't kissing their assets. No, Ken Griffey Jr. was more likable by the media. He was a media darling. And Ken Griffey was a great baseball player. His father was a decent baseball player. And Ken Griffey, had it not been for injuries, he could have been the home run king, quite possibly. But Barry Bonds took the approach of a Jerry Rice and a Tom Brady. He took very good care of his body, and he got the results. But because he wasn't well liked because of the way, he was very arrogant because he was confident in who we are. A lot of people, they are insecure, but Barry Bonds won about, I think, 7 regular season MVPs. Nobody comes close to winning as many MVPs as Barry Bonds. I think Kareem Abdul-Jabbar won about 6 in the NBA, if I'm not mistaken. Right now, the all-time scoring leader, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, won, I think, at least 6 MVPs regular season, but Barry won 7. Dominant, and they punish him. And people think that's okay. It bothered me for a couple years how they did Barry Bonds. His last season was also the year that Mike Vick got caught up in that dog stuff, right? So it was like a target on black athletes. And really nobody came to Barry's defense outside of Willie Mays, I can think of. His godfather, one of the greatest who ever did it, who loved his godson, who knew he was a fantastic player. Like when Barry Bonds got traded to the Giants, I believe Willie Mays, who wore number 24, because Barry won, I think Barry wore 24 for the Pirates. And, Willie Mays was number 24 for the Giants. Willie Mays was willing to unretire his number, if I'm not mistaken, so that his godson could wear it. And to me, that'll be Barry Bonds, come on. He's like Willie Mays 2.0 in a lot of ways. A real 5-tool player, but they did Barry Bonds. Now they got the insult to injury. They're justified keeping him out the Hall of Fame. All these folks is in the Hall of Fame. There's a lot of folks that are in these Hall of Fames have no reason to be in the Hall of Fame. People talk about Eli Manning should not be a first ballot Hall of Famer, but yet Joe Namath is in the Hall of Fame. Joe Namath, outside of winning that one Super Bowl that he guaranteed, he has horrible stats. His stats are horrible. But yet Eli has pretty decent stats. And in spite of what you may think of Eli, he beat Tom Brady twice. Arguably the GOAT at his position. He beat Tom Brady twice. He beat them. He gave them the only loss during their undefeated season. And then he beat them again. Like he avenged his brother. Like Peyton Manning was like Sonny Corleone. And then Eli is Michael Corleone. But y'all thought Eli was Fredo, but he's really a stone cold killer when it came to the playoffs. And you got to blame Giants ownership and management for not utilizing Eli to get him back to the promised land many more times. That's on the Giants management team. That's not on Eli. But he is a first ballot Hall of Famer if you got Joe Namath in there. But this is what they're going to do to Kyrie. They're going to keep him out the Hall of Fame. They got a lot of interesting people in the basketball Hall of Fame. Some of the folks, they shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame. I mean, it makes your Hall of Fame look too easy to get into. When you let people in for sentimental reasons. I love you for sentimental reasons. I hope that you believe in, all that crap. They're going to find ways to keep Kyrie out of the NBA Hall of Fame. I don't doubt that at all. One of the most skilled, if not the greatest skilled basketball player to ever play in the NBA. One of the most skilled basketball players of all time. And really what's bad is the fact LeBron could have passed on this, like how he be passing in the fourth quarter. He could have passed on criticizing his former teammate. Because if it wasn't for Kyrie, he would not have beaten the Golden State Warriors. The Golden State, see, Kyrie was like the Eli of the Cleveland Cavaliers, man. He was doing some amazing things. And, Golden State Warriors were on a historic run. And they just had a meltdown. I guess because they were so focused on outbeating the Bulls in the regular season that they couldn't finish the job. Yeah, they won more games in the regular season, but they like the 2007 Patriots. See, the 72 Dolphins are still undefeated in football. They had so they're the greatest football team of all time, regardless of what you might think about the people on the team. It's like, can you imagine the greatest Patriot team of all time not winning one Super Bowl? You had arguably the greatest wide receiver in his prime, Randy Moss. Yeah, I didn't win one Super Bowl with Randy Moss. He set a regular season touchdown record of 23 touchdowns in the regular season for a wide receiver, breaking Jerry Rice's. But Jerry played in less games, but still that's impressive. Like OJ ran for 2,000 yards in less games than anybody in history. He was the first. But what I'm saying, what are you talking about? What I'm talking about is LeBron lacks any type of character, as far as I'm concerned. LeBron is nothing but a puppet. LeBron is not to be trusted when it comes to having the best interests of so-called black people. That's the best interest. LeBron is a disappointment when it comes to being a true leader. Now, he's a hell of a basketball player. He's one of the greatest basketball players, if not the greatest, but he lacks character. If you throw your teammates under the bus, you're not a team player. You know how they try to make like Kobe Bryant wasn't a team player? You know how the media said Kobe Bryant's not a team player. Kobe Bryant was a team player. Kobe Bryant won 5 championships with a team. Kobe Bryant helped the Redeem Team. Look at that special documentary on Netflix, right? Kobe Bryant is a dead man. Now, he's dead, so he couldn't enjoy his flowers while he was alive. So now people want to sing his praises. But Kobe Bryant was an unofficial coach on the Redeem Team. He motivated them guys to get their acts together and take it to the next level, right? Because, like, that was an embarrassment. We have all them great basketball players back in 2004, coached by Larry Brown. Larry Brown, to me, is overrated as a coach. Like, he did some phenomenal things at Kansas, of course. Danny and the Miracles, Danny Manning. He helped take Allen Iverson with no help, really, to the NBA Finals against the Lakers. And that was impressive in itself. And he did something with Detroit, but Detroit should have won back-to-back championships. But I think it's because of Larry Brown not being a team player. Because Larry Brown was talking about stuff during the playoff run that could have waited in the offseason. So he was a distraction to his team. But y'all love Larry Brown, though, right? But Larry Brown was the coach for the 2004 Dream Team, and they lost. Because if you don't win gold and you the Dream Team, you lost. I don't care if you won silver or bronze. Silver and gold. I'd rather have gold or your ass can go home. Okay? So they lost. So Kobe Bryant comes, they recruit Kobe, and Kobe really motivate them players. These are professional basketball players, mind you, to reach into themselves, to rep for their country, and to redeem themselves. But the thing about it, I remember when I think Kobe and them were playing against the Celtics to get their second ring in 3 years. And Kobe had that amazing game where he kept on missing, but he kept on shooting, and he willed his team to a championship. And Mark Jackson and Jeff Van Gundy, I like Jeff Van Gundy as a color commentator. He used to be a coach for the Knicks. They basically were talking about Kobe, how he's perceived by the people because of the media. He said once the media put a story on you, it stays with you. Once they put a certain type of story on you, it follows you for the rest of your career. And even when you retire. So Kobe got this thing about not being a team player, about being selfish. But Kobe is a Virgo. And Virgos are OCD. Some of the greatest musicians are Virgos. You know, people like Charlie Parker, who would practice 11 to 15 hours a day on his saxophone for 4 years. People like Michael Jackson. Like Dick Gregory was real close to Michael Jackson. He said Michael Jackson was so into the zone and his music and his art, his craft and dancing, that when he would open up the refrigerator, the light would come on, he started performing. That was Dick Gregory was joke about. Now Michael Jackson, he was a Virgo. That what Virgos do. It's not a Mamba mentality. It's a Virgo mentality. Think about Beyonce, Virgo. Nas is a Virgo. Amy Winehouse, Virgos. Diana Washington, Virgo. Virgos. I love Virgos because they make the world a better place to live. They raise the stakes. So Kobe was a classic Virgo. August 23rd. What is it, 1978 when he was born? 1977. It was August 23rd, I think. But anyway, yeah, he's a bad teammate, but in death, oh, Kobe is the patron saint for teamwork that make the dream work. You know what I'm saying? And you know they killed Kobe Bryant because they're not telling you the whole story why they took him out of here. Now they'll tell you bits and pieces. People talk about it on their podcasts and different platforms. But you know that week that he died, he died on that Sunday, right? But he was due in court that week to take on a pharmaceutical company for the Black Mamba trademark. See, it was a pharmaceutical company that wanted to use Black Mamba for a line of their products. And Kobe, you know, we know him as a Black Mamba. But I think Kobe had some information on them on some unethical business practices that he was not allowed to present in court, allegedly. And they took him out of here. But also, Kobe was a enterprising businessman. He had a unique business portfolio, very diverse. One of his business partners in his venture capitalist firm served on the same board of a corporation as Jeffrey Epstein. Yeah, that Jeffrey Epstein, right? Kobe had a fundings for the Far East. You know, Kobe was a big superstar basketball player. The Asians love Kobe, and they was saying that Kobe was in talks would start his own unique basketball league over there. Over there, over there. So, okay, man, Kobe making some interesting moves. You know, then he doing the Hollywood stuff, film production. Won an Oscar for one of his documentaries he did about basketball, like a love letter to basketball. Kobe was a true Renaissance man, but also he was a visionary. He was making these moves that former athletes had no business making. Like if Kobe was going to TNT and doing color commentary and all that crap, they'll let him do that. But to be doing the stuff he was doing, getting in certain boardrooms, making certain global moves, securing his trademark, amplifying his brand. Can you think about it? His daughter was on her way to becoming a basketball star. She could have probably been the greatest woman basketball player of all time. We'll never know that now because they took her out. Because when they kill you, they not only kill you, they kill your legacy. They'll kill your potential dynasty. So you not only sacrifice, they sacrifice you. Like, look at Malcolm's ex-children. Why don't those beautiful women have more children? Why don't more of his daughters have more children? He got some gorgeous daughters. Daughters are gorgeous, but you got to think about it, how their family has been attacked by the so-called shadow government. How even Malcolm talked about the men in his father's family, his father's brothers were killed at an early age. His father was taken out of here at an early age. So black men are not allowed to exist as black men in a system that emasculates black males. And if you are a black man in this system, you are true indeed the rose that grew out of concrete. So you are a problem. You are problematic, and you must be eliminated. Because black manhood at its full force cannot be accepted. So I never forget, like I said, how they did Barry Bonds. So like, how you doing, Kyrie? And that's 15 years later. It's not surprising. But the lack of character among the black people, the black athlete, is just sad. Because even Muhammad Ali, they sent out them old timers after Muhammad Ali. They sent Joe Louis after him. They try to get Sugar Ray Robinson after him. That's what they do. It's like when Paul Robeson, they put Jackie Robinson on Paul Robeson. When Paul Robeson was standing up to the government, standing up to these thugs, these fascists in America, when they took away his passport, the government brought out Jackie Robinson to take down Paul Robeson aside. And I believe Jackie Robinson did regret doing that. Because when Jackie Robinson died, he was in his 50s. But you thought he was 80 years old because his body was so worn by white supremacy and racism. They lied to Jackie Robinson. Major League Baseball lied. You lied to me. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Okay, they lied to Jackie Robinson. Because Jackie thought when they was integrating, it would be better for black people. No. There's hardly any black Americans playing professional baseball now. You know, back in the day, you had some great basketball players like David Winfield from California. He's from L.A. Tony Gwynn from L.A. These guys was amazing basketball players, but they chose to play baseball. These guys came from the inner city. They came from South L.A. and places like that, but they chose baseball, and they had Hall of Fame careers. Baseball is amazing because you could play for 20-something years easily. Could make a lot of money doing it, guaranteed money, unlike football. And you can save your knees. You can still walk upright, and you still can recall that you played baseball after you retired. When you play football, you may not recall that you played football at all, and you be a young man. There's CTE stuff. But in baseball, shit, you good. Live a long time, make a lot of long money, you know. And David Winfield, imagine if LeBron James went into baseball. LeBron James would be a beast. LeBron James would have been an amazing baseball player. Michael Jordan's first love was baseball. And y'all trying to say he wasn't good when he came. He actually did pretty well for a person who didn't play baseball in a long time. Michael Jordan is a very good athlete. Because for him able to do what he did, that's impressive. And he played baseball, of course, to stay in shape for when he came back to basketball. But why is it that we're not going to see a black guy be the commissioner of basketball? Like I said, who's been commissioner of basketball so far? Who's been the last two commissioners? Right? Did they ever play basketball, organized professional basketball? You think they ever did? You know, so like I said, the people that run these industries with the least talent, they the one making all the money, making all the rules and the decisions. You know, Amazon is still allowed to make money off the documentary that Kyrie just happened to mention on one of his social media platforms. But it's costing Kyrie millions of dollars and quite possibly his career just for sharing his thoughts with his followers. And I would encourage black people, find you something else to do besides watching these fools games. Stop supporting football and basketball and all this stuff. Because if they can't support us, and yet we supply them with the entertainment, our black lives should matter to us enough that we boycott these foolish activities until further notice. It should matter to us. Black folks out here getting killed, but yet they mad at a dude for tweeting or for posting about a documentary that most of us would never watch. What is it in that documentary that they are afraid of getting out? I read about the documentary on the Anti-Defamation League website. Or they say Hitler said this quote. Hitler didn't say that. How you know Hitler didn't say that black people were the chosen people? How do they know that? Now, this is speaking of that, I'm going to bring this up. And I'm going to move on to Kanye. I don't even think I really touched on Kyrie like that. But I wish he didn't apologize, but I can't appreciate the pressure that he's on in his position. Because he never thought that he'll get this type of blowback. He handled himself very well at the press conference. Very articulate. You know, he would have been right up there with Muhammad Ali and Jim Brown in that famous photo, I believe. And the thing about people want to crap on OJ, but like I knew football players that were involved in the movement that worked with Jim Brown, that played with OJ. They said we had no problem with OJ because OJ never got in our way. OJ may have not felt like some of those brothers felt when it came to dealing with the issues of the day, but he never got in anybody's way about it. He said, hey, man, whatever, y'all do y'all thing. He didn't get in their way when they were doing their thing. But my problem is a lot of these Negroes, they go way above and beyond the call of duty to bring Kyrie to yield. That's an insult. And y'all think it's not that serious. It is very much serious. Because you tell your kids to be like these clowns, these court jesters. No, be like Paul Robeson. We don't honor him. Be like the folks that we don't really honor. Be like the folks that we say we like, but if they was around, we hate them. We say we love them. We say we love Malcolm. We say we love Martin Luther King. But if they was around, and they saw how Warnock was doing his legacy at Ebenezer Church, how you had homeless people out there squatting around Ebenezer Church, how you had black folks getting killed, like Kendrick Johnson rolled up in a gym mat, like Tamla Horsford getting killed in Sundown County or Forsyth County. You got all them black folks talking about vote for me, I set you free, but yet they can't address those things. They rather get into Killer Mike. They rather bring Killer Mike to yield than tell the GBI, the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, to unopen these cases and arrest the crooks you know did this to Tamla Horsford and to Kendrick Johnson. Like what Jay Prince Sr. said, you can't hide around me. You can't be around me. You got to accept what's coming to you. But yeah, black folks talking about, let's give me some mac and cheese and collard greens and a cold ass catfish sandwich, and I'm yours. Signed, sealed, delivered, I'm yours. This is what we do. I'm tired of you older black people with this crap about voting. You could barely afford to pay your light bill and to get your medication. And to get groceries. You got nerve to vote, vote, vote. Vote, 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 vote. Enough of this crap. Enough. Up here voting Democrat. Man, y'all not even this faithful to your spouses. Be voting Democrat. They be cheating on y'all all the time. Y'all say, I love you, baby. I don't want to leave. I don't want to leave, girl. I'm going to vote for you. I love you because I need you. I don't love myself. I don't like myself. I don't like my people. I don't like my people. All right? You up here buying this crap that these people put out here. You indoctrinate your children. These folks are weak. And every single one, LeBron, Shaq, and Chuck, they all wore dresses. So they buck broken. Wig wearing. See, Charles Barkley look like the women he talking about in San Antonio, allegedly. Oh, man, this is terrible. He talking about your religion. That's terrible. That's terrible. Negro, don't you know what the history of Jewish people in Alabama is when it comes to black people? That's terrible. Terrible. Leave. I remember I was down in Alabama, right? I was coming back from the Selma 50th anniversary thing down in Alabama. Good old Alabama. I stopped in Birmingham, and I wanted to see the Civil Rights Institute Museum they had, because right across the street from the 16th Street Baptist Church, where them 4 little girls got killed. Now, you had 5 little girls that were hurt. 4 got killed, 1 survived. Her name is Sarah Rudolph Collins. It messed up her eyes permanently. Her eyes were permanently messed up from surviving that bomb blast in the basement of 16th Street Baptist Church. This is how messed up black people are. I went into that church just to look around. And the blast was so powerful that the Klan put in the basement of that church that it shattered the stained glass picture of a white Jesus. It shattered the stained glass picture of a white Jesus. God trying to tell y'all something, black folk. Why I got white Jesus in a black church? Then what these fools did, no disrespect to the, whatever. They put another image of a white Jesus in that same spot. So it took white folks from Wales, from across the sea, over the sea, or not under the sea, but over. They raised money to put a black Jesus stained glass window in that church. It took people from overseas, white folks, I think, to raise money to put a black Jesus in a black church after the white folks blew up a church doing Sunday school with 4 little girls, 5 in all, were horribly killed, disfigured, whatever. So I went to the park across the street from the museum and the 16th Street Baptist Church, talking to some brothers from around the country that came for the 750th. I have yet to put those interviews out. This was back in 2015. I ain't gonna forget this. These 2 elderly white Jewish ladies came to me. You know, white Jewish ladies always like to mess with me. These white Jewish ladies keep tripping out. They like to just mess with me. One Jewish lady was from New York. She was visiting her Jewish friend who's from Alabama. And from my understanding, this white Jewish lady, I forgot her name. She was a prominent photographer. She was a well-known, a famous photographer from New York City. And her friend was from Alabama. And we started talking, and she said something. Her friend from Alabama said, I bet you didn't know there was Jewish people down here. I said, oh, I did know y'all exist. I know a lot about the Jewish people in Alabama. She started smiling and nodding her head. I nodded my head and smiling. Yeah, I know about you Jews down here in Alabama. I know a lot about y'all. You know, and it's not that's what I'm saying. Like, look, problem with black people today is we're not necessarily afraid. We just don't know nothing. We don't know who our enemies are. We don't know what our position is in society. We just don't know. And a lot of us don't want to know. That's called willful ignorance. But the fact that she knew that I knew, she started doing like, okay, you got it. I said, I got it. I understand. I'm going to share a quote. And y'all donate. I appreciate those who donate. And if you even donate, it's okay. But I'm the feeder, like Baba did Greg. I'm here to feed my people. Sometimes I get it wrong. I ain't gonna lie. But here's a quote, right? I'm gonna read a quote. I don't know if it's real because people will say, well, this is not a real quote, but it's out there. And it's worth to think about. Because we just talking about Birmingham, right? I'm just talking about Birmingham, right? I'm gonna read a quote that is attributed to a famous, well-known rabbi from Birmingham, Alabama. I'm gonna read this quote, and I may post it somewhere on my social media. And I got my so-called Jewish friends. They already trying to come for me. They want to write me long prison letters and all that stuff. They want, Ron, I thought we were friends, and we were friends. I went to school with you, Ron. Why you do this to the Jewish people? I'm not doing anything. I'm not trying to label any group degenerates. I'm trying to point out facts. I'm not doing anything but pointing out facts. I get in trouble for this for being a messenger. This is not even my message. I'm just looking and researching and presenting to the people and let the people decide what to do with it. So I'm about to read this quote. God, it's talking about Birmingham, running to Jewish people in Birmingham. This was a famous German Birmingham Jewish rabbi, very prominent rabbi. His name was Rabbi Milton Grafman. That's Rabbi Milton Grafman. Allegedly, he said this. He said that the lives of 1,000 Negroes are not worth a hair on the head of a single Jew. The lives of 1,000 Negroes are not worth a hair on the head of a single Jew. The lives of 1,000 Negroes are not worth a hair on the head of a single Jew. This is Rabbi Milton Grafman, who was a nemesis at one point of Dr. King. One of the people he was addressing in his letter from a Birmingham jail letter. Rabbi Milton Grafman. Now, when you Google him up, nobody hardly talks about this quote that's attributed to him. What they do talk about is his amazing civil rights work in Birmingham. Oh, he helped solidify, unify the races and all that stuff. Oh, he helped that. They sung his praises, but you start doing a little bit digging, you'll find that quote. They say he said that because even before he died, he talked about how all the work he done as a crusader for so-called civil rights, people still say, well, I remember when you were talking about this and that. And he was trying to live that down. So they covering up for old boy. All right. But evidently he might have said that. So I'm just putting it out there. Because Dr. King wrote a letter that was directed towards him and other clergy. Dr. King had issue with clergy, white clergy, black clergy. A lot of people, his peer group despised him because he's trying to stand on truth. Regardless of what his personal life is, y'all get caught up in all that gossip because that's how we program to think small and not think big picture. That's why everybody take advantage of us. But we program like that. But read Dr. King's A Letter from Birmingham Jail. This guy, see, man, I hate to do this, y'all. I got people that claim that I'm overstepping my bounds, right? They say, well, I said that some of the biggest Confederates were Jewish, some of the biggest Nazis were Jewish. And I got so-called Jewish people, Brian, that's not, you making it sound worse than what it is. Nah, it is, it's horrible. And they'll say, well, black folks, I know black folks own slaves. See, that's the problem. Nobody is above criticism. No group of people is above critique, criticism, above anything. Everybody is fair game as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, I know about the black folks that own slaves. It was a famous furniture maker from North Carolina named Thomas Day, I believe. A renowned furniture maker. A black man. But guess what? He owned slaves. It was his black slaves that helped him make his furniture. Then you have the Indians, the so-called Native Americans. The 5 civilized tribes, they own black people. This is well known. Matter of fact, not that long ago in Oklahoma, the descendants of free men sued the Cherokee Nation for reparations, and they won. Nobody never talked about that. They don't talk about that. But the 5 civilized tribes own slaves. Not only did they own slaves, but the 5 civilized tribes fought for the Confederacy. They fought for the Confederacy. And guess what? One of the white generals that led these civilized tribes as a Confederate general was a guy named Albert Pike. Albert Pike, a guy from Boston who looked like a mix between Paul Bunyan and Santa Claus. With the Harvard, but I guess he dropped out. One of their infamous, not famous dropout, one of their infamous dropouts. I don't think he completed, but he was Confederate general, and he was over the Native Americans who owned slaves who fought for the Confederacy. And guess what? He also founded the Ku Klux Klan, the KKKKK, OKKK. He founded the Klan, okay? So the guy who led Native Americans under the Confederate flag during the Civil War is also considered a founder, if not the founder, of the Ku Klux Klan. And he's not even from the Deep South. He's from Massachusetts. And he was a third degree Scottish Rite Freemason. Now, they got a Masonic lodge for Albert Pike in Arkansas, where he was headquartered at one point. They had a statue of Albert Pike in D.C. right across from the courthouse where they have a statue of Lincoln. You know, the people took it down. I ain't saying the police, D.C. took it down. The so-called rioters, I think they took it down, I want to say back in 2020, out of George Floyd madness was going on. I don't know when, but they took I went to D.C. back in 2018. I went to the National Portrait Gallery. After I left that, I went to find that statue because it was the only statue in the nation's capital of a Confederate general. And he was the founder of the Klan. It was there for a while. And then the folks, the people, I don't trust these false flag psyop things. They took it down without no problem. So the people were able to dismantle the Albert Pike statue with no problem. They let you know it's a game. So Albert Pike used to live in Memphis when Nathan Bedford Forrest was here. No, Nathan Bedford Forrest was the first Grand Wizard of the Klan, a prominent slave trader. You know, his body was buried underneath his horse statue for over 100 years on Union Avenue, not that far from where I'm doing this podcast or broadcast or vlogcast right now. They removed his body and his wife remains back in December 2017. White folks throughout the whole country used to come around the Sunday before his birthday. His birthday, July 13th. He's come the Sunday before his birthday for over 100 years, about hundreds and sometimes some years thousands, to honor that white man buried on that horse statue on one of Memphis's busy streets. And a lot of black folks never knew that was going on for 100 years. I heard black folks telling me that they knew sometimes they couldn't walk past the statue without getting beat up. I heard it from old timers. They said they turned the statue around to face the South back in the 40s. Well, old timers told me it's not on the historic market what happened, but it was there for over 100 years in a black town. And a lot of folks never knew who that guy was. And he was here one of the most prominent slave traders, considered a military genius. They still study what he did on horses as a cavalier leader. They still study it in military schools throughout the country. This is Veterans Day week. We're going to do some amazing Veterans Day shows, some amazing hidden Black history Veterans Day show coming up this week. Now, I put myself under the pressure to do this, and I hope y'all support it. If you get good information from what I'm doing, please feel free to donate to the nation, man, because we all be in it to win it. So, what people don't tell you about these so-called white supremacists, these Confederates, they love chocolate. They love chocolate. They love Black women. They had a fetish for Black women. General Nathan Bedford Forrest, his great grandson is Douglas Turner Ward. Douglas Turner Ward was the founder of the Negro Ensemble Company. He died last year, I think, almost 100 years old. But his great-great-grandfather was the one and only Nathan Bedford Forrest, the Wizard of the Saddle, the leader of the Fort Pillow Massacre, where 300 U.S. colored troops, white soldiers, and Black women and children were massacred by Nathan Bedford Forrest at Fort Pillow in Henning, Tennessee, April 12th, 1864. But he had a great-great-grandson that was a Black dude named Douglas Turner Ward, who trained James Earl Jones, Lou Gossett Jr., Samuel Jackson, Morgan Freeman, Angela Bassett, all the Black actors and actresses you can name from the last 50-something years. They had some dealings with the Negro Ensemble Company, Denzel, all them people. Ain't that something? How many of y'all knew that the first Grand Wizard of the Klan had a great Black grandson? I told his followers that they head about to explode. That's not true. They just love white women. I remember Nathan Bedford Forrest did a speech for the Pole Bearers Association. See, they the forerunner to the NAACP, the Pole Bearers. So he did this back in the 1870s. He did this speech there. It was like his Atlanta Compromise. You know, when Booker T. Washington did a speech that we could be as separate as the fingers, but one is a fist when it comes to mutual progress. He did his Atlanta Compromise in Memphis, whatever. That's some decades earlier, but decades and changed earlier. But he said, I think the Negroes have a right to rise up to that level of their talent and skill in the society. And then the Black folks applauded. Oh, thank you, General Forrest. Thank you so much, man. Thank you. Black woman gave him a bouquet and pecked him on his cheek. He said, I love flowers, but what I love more than flowers, I love me some chocolate. I love some chocolate, because life is like a box of chocolates. You remember Forrest Gump said his cousin was Nathan Bedford Forrest? He named after his cousin, Nathan Bedford Forrest, the Wizard of the Saddle. Nathan Bedford, that's what we talking about. But he was a Memphian. But his remains were buried across the street from the Scottish Rite building. And I told you the founder of the Klan, Albert Pike, used to live in Memphis, and he was a third degree Freemason Scottish Rite person. So white folks be into that Masonic stuff, all this stuff. They be into that occult energy. It's a lot of powerful occult energy in Memphis. That's why they sacrificed Dr. King here. It's one of the reasons. DC got a lot of powerful occult energy the way it's laid out. But anyway, man, what the hell? I'm all over the place, right? But I'm just throwing stuff out there. But let me read what the Jewish rabbi allegedly said. And I want y'all to research this and talk about it. He said, this is Rabbi Milton Grafman. Now he's a civil rights icon. Today they remember him as a civil rights icon, but he was against what Dr. King was trying to do with Project C Birmingham, trying to integrate Birmingham and all that stuff. He allegedly said, this is what Rabbi Milton Grafman said. The lives of 1,000 Negroes are not worth a hair on the head of a single Jew. The lives of 1,000 Negroes are not worth a hair on the head of a single Jew. Rabbi Milton Grafman. And you could say, oh, that's horrible and all that. Is that true? I'm looking at people's actions, right? You can look at, like I talked about Leo Frank. I asked a question, and I'm being sincere. I'm not trying to be a troublemaker and poke at a bear. What I'm trying to say is I want y'all to start thinking. Instead of somebody just constantly tell you how to think, I want y'all to embrace critical thinking. Do your own thinking. Don't even take all my words for it. Sometimes I get information wrong. Like I got the Prince sons mixed up on Saturday. I said that Jazz Prince was JR and JR was Jazz. And I got it mixed up. It's in the photo. They got their medallions on. But, oh, my bad. I'm not trying to mislead nobody, but I just want to put stuff out there. I think it's very important. I asked the question, are Jewish people still mad at black people for what happened to Leo Frank? And I touched on Leo Frank a little bit, right? In the last live. Leo Frank is the reason why they got an anti-defamation league. They founded an anti-defamation league because they found Leo Frank guilty in the deep south, of allegedly raping and killing a 13-year-old white girl named Mary Fagan. But Leo Frank defense was trying to blame a black janitor and said they did it. He even had some type of suspect letter written in Ebonics saying that he confessed to killing this white girl that was found in the basement of the factory, of the pencil factory that Leo Frank ran. His wife was able to get his death sentence commuted to life, but the white folks down south wasn't having it. You know, they didn't care about lynching some Negro. Black folks got killed for looking white folks in the eye, for refusing to move out the sidewalk when the little baby walked past. They didn't care about killing no black person, but they wanted him for some reason. Like I said, he had a reputation, allegedly, of hiring sex workers. That's the PC version, right? So my understanding, some of the girls that worked at the factory felt uncomfortable around Leo Frank. I think his wife knew about his practices because the maid that worked at the family home said that he confessed to killing the girl that night that she was working in the home. And they try to intimidate the black. This is back in the 19 teens where they were lynching black folks. Like just hanging them from trees like Christmas lights and light poles and stuff. So for that woman to say, hey, no, he admitted to killing the girl. Then they didn't believe the black janitor did it, and they got Leo Frank. So they lynched him back in 1915. And the same year that Leo Frank was killed, guess what came out in the movie theaters? Birth of a Nation, which led to the resurgence of the Klan. The Klan was reborn where? Stone Mountain, Georgia. Not that far where they lynched Leo Frank in 1915. All this stuff happened in 1915. Leo Frank got lynched. Birth of a Nation premiered. And people talk about D.W. Griffith, right? It's all on him. The Birth of a Nation was a very innovative movie for its time. Now, the answer back movie to the Birth of a Nation movie is Within Our Gates by Oscar Micheaux. That came out in 1921. Look at that movie. Look at the Birth of a Nation. I encourage y'all to look at the original Birth of a Nation. Then look at Oscar Micheaux's answer back, Within Our Gates, that came out in 1921. One of the first black film directors, Oscar Micheaux. People say the Oscar is named for Oscar Micheaux. He came from Metropolis, Illinois. You know, they say Superman's from Metropolis, right? Instead of having a statue of Oscar Micheaux, they got a statue of Superman. See how they did, like in Philadelphia, Smokey Joe Frazier is from Philadelphia. Instead of having a statue of Smokey Joe Frazier, they got a statue of Rocky, a fictional character. That's how white folks do. Y'all gotta defend these people. They don't defend you. They don't care about you and your history and your true identity. So, who created Hollywood? Who okayed the production of The Birth of a Nation? Who created Hollywood? That's all I got to say. This is not about hating anybody. This is about knowledge of self and being honest. And being honest. It's like what Ice Cube talk about. You know, he don't want Kanye putting his mouth or putting his name in his mouth. I can understand it, but Ice Cube, what he say, no Vaseline. Let a ooh break up the crew. 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 I got something nice and smooth. Let a crew ooh break up the crew. Let a ooh break up the crew. Right? What happened in Sugar Hill Rackets? Who broke that up? Morris Levy. Why do they fall in love? Frank and Lyman and the Teenagers. Why do fools fall in love? Ooh, ooh, ah. Who signed Frankie Lyman and a teenager and took all their money? Morris Levy, Jewish gangster record executive. Who ran King Records? James Brown. Hit on the one, hit on the one, hit on the one. Was Sidney Nathan or something? Sid Nathan or whatever. Jewish guy. This is not about anti-Semitism. This is about there are people in positions of power that control other people, and they get the most benefit out of other people's said talents. Who was Sam Cooke's business manager? Alan Klein. Okay. His company owns all Sam Cooke stuff. Who was Jerry Wexler of Atlantic Records, right? It was another. Dolomite worked with some Jewish guys to produce. Rudy Ray Moore. My Name is Dolomite. Eddie Murphy played. Dolomite movie was financed by some Jewish brothers. I'm going to say their name. I want y'all to do y'all research. Find it. Okay, the Bahari brothers, right? They produced a lot of the blues greats back in the 50s, back in the day. Like I Love Johnny Ace. They produced some of his stuff, B.B. King, and they helped finance Dolomite. They had the Bahari brothers, Lester, Jules, Saul, and Joe, were American businessmen of Hungarian Jewish origin. They were founders of Modern Records in Los Angeles and the subsidiaries, such as Meteor Records, based in Memphis. The Bahari brothers were significant figures in the process that transformed rhythm and blues into rock and roll, which appealed to white audiences in 1950s. They recorded B.B. King, Johnny Ace, a lot of blues greats back in the day. So I'm reading. This is not me saying this. I'm reading. I guess my mic is working now. I don't know if y'all can hear me or not. It got disconnected. Time is flying, but I hope this is worth your time listening to. I know I talk a lot, but it has pseudonyms and royalties. Though they were not songwriters, the Baharis often purchased or claimed co-authorship of songs that appeared on their labels, thus procuring songwriting royalties for themselves in addition to their other sources of income. Sometimes these songs were older standards renamed. B.B. King's rendition of Rock Me Baby was such a tune. Anonymous jams, as with BB's Boogie, or songs by employees such as bandleader Vince Weaver. The Baharis use a number of pseudonyms for songwriting credits. Jules was credited as Jules Taub, Joe as Joe Josiah, and Saul as Sam Ling. One song by John Lee Hooker, Down Child, is solely credited to Taub, with Hooker receiving no credit for the song whatsoever. See, I'm gonna read that again. John Lee Hooker is all time. I love John Lee Hooker. By way of Clarksdale, Mississippi, with Sam Cooke and Ike Turner and Nate Dogg. Smoke weed every day. And Rick Ross, the rapper, is from Clarksdale. Yeah, that's Clarksdale, Mississippi. Down Highway 61 from Memphis, man. Read what they said again. One song by John Lee Hooker, Down Child, is solely credited to Taub, with Hooker receiving no credit for the song whatsoever. Another, Turn Over a New Leaf, is credited to Hooker and Ling, Bahari brother. Taub was the Bahari's mother's maiden name. The Baharis added their name to writing credits when they had no input into the writing of the music or lyrics. B.B. King said, "The company I was with knew a lot of things they didn't tell me that I didn't learn until later. Some of the songs I wrote, they added a name when I copyrighted it, like King and Ling, or King and Josiah, or Josiah or Hosea, I don't know. There was no such thing as a Ling or Josiah, no such thing. That way the company could claim help for your song. Ike Turner was a young talent scout for the Baharis and was also a session musician and production assistant. Turner, unaware of royalties, wrote songs as well, which the Baharis copyrighted under their pseudonyms. Turner estimated he wrote 7 8 hit records for the Baharis. Yeah, that make you want to punch somebody when you realize they taking advantage of you like that. Y'all talking about Ike Turner. Y'all have no idea. Ike Turner is one of the founding fathers of rock and roll. Ike Turner was a music genius. He discovered and created Tina Turner. That's why she never dropped that last name, because she knew what it meant. That was rock royalty. We don't know what it meant. Ike Turner, Tina Turner folks love Ike Turner to the day he died. They loved him. They had so much respect for him. They don't tell you all that. Even Phil Spector. Yeah, that Phil Spector that killed that white girl in his mansion, that music producer extraordinaire, he spoke at Ike Turner's funeral. He had a lot of love for Ike Turner. Because we ain't telling the truth about our people. Y'all hate Ike Turner based on an actor, a court jester playing him. What's his name? Larry Fishburne. He's a court jester. He's an actor. He's an entertainer. He's a professional buffoon. I'm not saying this as a person. I'm just saying his profession is all about make-believe, making up crap, entertaining, distraction. This is not a knock personally against Larry Fishburne. I'm talking about his profession. You know, I'm not knocking him. I'm just talking about y'all hate Ike Turner based on an impression, a so-called mimicking of Ike Turner. Ike Turner is a rock and roll god, R&B legend. He'll create R&B. Understand? He wrote Rocket 88 down the Riverside Motel where Bessie Smith, the Queen of Blues, died. Down in Clarksdale, Mississippi. Do yourself a favor. I love Memphis. If you ever in Memphis area, go down to Clarksdale, Mississippi, especially around the Juke Joint Festival time. Clarksdale is an amazing place. It's one of the most musical places I ever been to in my life. Everything sounds like music, just like music. Ooh, ooh. Everything is music. The way they honk their horns, the way they be moving in the streets, the way they be talking, everything has a rhythm to it. You know, W.C. Haney used to live in Clarksdale. They still got his house down there. We got W.C. Haney house on Beale Street, but they got his house down there preserved in Clarksdale too. But what I'm saying is, the Baharis, what was their religion? They Jewish. They Hungarian Jews. Look what they did to the black talent. This happened during the 50s and whatnot, right? They stole from Johnny Ace too. Johnny Ace is the grandfather of Legacy. A lot of y'all love Legacy, but her grandfather was Johnny Ace, and her grandmother was a side piece or mistress of Johnny Ace. And if I ever talked to Legacy, I want to know if her grandma was Olivia Gibbs, the woman who was sitting on Johnny Ace's lap when he blew his brains out or shot himself in the head Christmas night, 1954, down in Houston. And we're going to talk about Houston. I want to talk about Kanye now. I can talk about this all day long. I don't know if I'm even hitting my points, but it's so much to talk about. I just freestyle, man. But let's talk about Kanye right quick. See, what y'all don't get about the Kanye, I'm gonna Ye. His name is Ye. Ye is doing chess moves. He's doing Chinese checkers. A lot of us still playing Uno. He playing Chinese checkers. He's taking a gamble on himself that if he can survive, it's going to pay off in big dividends. Kanye changed his name to Ye. He's Ye now because Ye is not under anybody's yoke of a contract or joke of a contract. As Ye, he's not under anybody's contract. He is borrowing from the blueprint of Prince. You understand what Prince was not Prince for a minute? Remember when Prince became the artist formerly known as, when he became a symbol? See, that was a way to get out of that yoke, out of that slave contract, so he can start, making his own way, creating his own source of revenue, not be so codependent on the powers that be, the so-called traditional powers that be. Okay? That's what Ye is doing. He's doing long-term strategy. A lot of us, see, my thing is, I'm not gonna call no man crazy just because he lose $2 billion in one day, allegedly. To me, I'd rather lose $2 billion than lose my mind. And the man is far from crazy. He's brilliant. He's like a mad scientist in a lab. The world is his lab. We are his lab rats. He's a mad scientist. He's an evil genius, if you want to say that. But the man is brilliant. He's a visionary. He know what it takes to do what he's doing. If anybody can do what he's doing, he's the guy that can do it. Kanye can do it. He got the right type of confidence. He's like the Barry Bonds of this thing, right? He made a song I love called Barry Bonds with Lil Wayne. But Barry Bonds is that G that they try to destroy, but they can't deny because the way Barry Bonds built, no, it's gonna be a long time. They talking about Aaron Judge with the New York Yankees. Whatever. I mean, he's a good hitter, but he's not a hitter like Barry Bonds. Barry Bonds, that home run rack gonna be up for a while. Because even Albert Pujols, if he had stayed healthy, he could have possibly had 900 home runs. But life is interesting, man. Because you never know how everything gonna end up. Like you look at Penny Hardaway, one of my favorite basketball players, Memphis State Tiger and all that, Orlando Magic. Penny would have been a first ballot Hall of Famer, but he had them foot problems. Knee, foot problems, whatever. But then you think about what happened to Michael Jordan. He broke his foot, the second season? And look what he's able to do. He came back. Freak of nature. Amazing specimen. Somebody like Lawrence Taylor, who did what he did without even lifting weights. Lawrence Taylor was country strong. He like him and Bo Jackson, this freaks of nature, man. Just gifted. But Bo Jackson got his hip mixed up. And Bo Jackson could have been a baseball and a football Hall of Famer, or either one. But he got their hip messed up. And he played football with Frank Thomas. Frank Thomas, a Chicago White Sox great. I mean, they both played football at Auburn. But life is fun like that. For every Michael Jordan, you got a Penny Hardaway somewhere. For every I don't know. But anyway, you get my point. Ken Griffey Jr. I said them injuries. Barry Bonds is freak of nature, but it takes somebody like him to do what he's doing. Okay, he's shifting it's a paradigm shift that's happening. And this ain't ringing about hero worship. This is about, have y'all even listened to the song New Slaves? Right? And I want to read something about Ye. Let me see. And y'all looking at We All Be, News Free Dixie for the 21st century. That's We All Be, News Free Dixie for the 21st century. Just trying to, it's a lot be in my head, but I got 23 minutes left before the end of the hour, right? I'm trying to hit this out. And I'm going to touch a little bit on the, I think, Takeoff situation. It's a lot to talk about. But I think I dropped enough names for y'all. I fed y'all enough. If I don't even get to what I said I was going to get to, y'all got enough to work with. Shake it fast, but watch yourself. Shake it fast. Show me what you're working with. Do, do, do. Do, 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 do. Let me see something. Okay. Show this picture. So anybody that say it's crazy, when they go out their way trying to cancel a person that's supposed to be crazy, they not crazy, folks. Y'all need to figure out the games they playing. If they go to this length to silence anybody, whether it be Kyrie or Ye or anybody, more than likely than not, they're not crazy, because crazy folks cancel themselves out anyway. And yes, people are a little bit off. Like Dr. King said, human salvation lies in the hands of creatively maladjusted. Human salvation lies in the hands of the creatively maladjusted. Human salvation lies in the hands of the creatively maladjusted. Okay? So let me show you how brilliant Kanye. I'm going to read an article I found about the situation with Adidas. It came out late October. And I just want y'all to think about what Kanye is doing. And because a lot of people, there's some people that's respectable. You can't call a man crazy if you've never been where he's been. I don't know what it feels like to be a multi-billionaire. I don't know what it feels like to lose $2 billion. And for me, from my point of view, being not even a thousandaire, for me to call him crazy because he's making certain moves, I'm not qualified to diagnose him as crazy. A lot of y'all can't, I mean, because you listen to his interviews, even when folks try to dissect Kanye, when they play stuff that the mainstream media don't really amplify, he makes more and more sense. What y'all don't like is that he don't say it how y'all like it to say it. Y'all didn't like Kevin Samuels because he spoke truth, but y'all didn't like how he said it. So that shows immaturity. See, a lot of y'all should have been cursed out by Dick Gregory. That will help a lot of y'all out in life. Because y'all too, like, y'all too upset about the wrong stuff. Y'all mad. I wish y'all was mad at Biden like y'all be mad at Trump for whatever reason. I think it's weird. Especially the older black dudes. Y'all strange to me. Y'all can't tell me nothing about no politics. Y'all, because if y'all knew what y'all was doing, we wouldn't be in this state of affairs as black people. These old black guys, all they want to do is screw women and chase girls and stuff. It's weird. They don't want to help a black man who's trying to help himself and help each other. They want to they give you oh, baby, take all my cash. I don't care, man. Hey, little boy, get my way, man. I want that woman over there. Hey, little pretty thing, come on here and sit on my lap. Oh, that kind of crazy. Hey, man, I want to start something that's going to help create a rites of passage for our young black males to become men. I don't know, man. They're lost cause, man. Let's get you a gun. Got your shelf a gun? Got your shelf? Okay. Anyway, let me read this article. If I can find it. I got so many things open. I get them high. They're going to have Dave Chappelle on Saturday Night Live this upcoming weekend, I think. I don't see now if Dave Chappelle, if he as much of the stuff he went through it, hell he caught over the years, he should be able to empathize with Kyrie. But if he throw him under the bus, yeah, cancel him too then. Because Dave, you trying to have it both ways. You know better, man. You know what they doing. You know what they doing, Dave. You've been down that road. They still trying to cancel you. So you should know. So I'm going to try to find. All right. I'm going to read this article. And bear with me. I ain't going to read the whole thing. I just want to read so I can get a better understanding of what's going on. Because like some of you so-called new black media people, y'all think y'all know everything. Y'all don't know everything. If you knew everything, Kanye ain't asking people to fund him. Like, he don't got no GoFundMe. I remember, like, what? Several years ago, he did create some type of GoFundMe or something like that. He was trying to get Mark Zuckerberg, the founder of Facebook or Fedbook or Snitchbook, to give him some money. But Kanye's a billionaire. He was broke at one point, I think, when he was like, Sway, you don't have the answers. Sway don't have the answers, but Kanye found the answers 7 years later. But anyway, read this. Ye doesn't own his sneaker designs. So what happens next? Right, this came out October 25th. Adidas officially announced that it had terminated its deal with Ye. The decisions came after a continuous avalanche of controversies surrounding the artist formerly known as Kanye West that began with the debut of a White Lives Matter t-shirt during his Yeezy Season 9 show at Paris Fashion Week and continued with a string of public anti-Semitic remarks. Okay. Adidas does not tolerate anti-Semitism and any other sort of hate speech. Ye's recent comments and actions have been unacceptable, hateful, and dangerous, and they violate the company's values of diversity and inclusion, mutual respect, and fairness, read the official statement released by Adidas. Further along in the 4-paragraph statement, Adidas asserted that while it will cease production of all Yeezy-related products, it remains the sole owner of all design rights to existing products as well as previous and new colorways under the partnership. Despite maintaining ownership of the designs, Ye still owns the Yeezy trademark, which means Adidas could continue to reproduce his designs, but they wouldn't be able to use the Yeezy branding. While it doesn't seem likely that Adidas would do any time soon, it does pose the question: will Adidas continue to produce Yeezy or Yeezy-inspired design? I think what we could see is Adidas keeping those designs in its archive and bringing them down or bringing them out in the future, says Susan Scafidi of Fordham's Fashion Law Institute. I do think, and this is why it was important for them to claim ownership of those designs, that we will see Adidas designs based on the look and feel of Ye. The touch, the look of Ye's. Okay. Adidas is just one of the many companies severing their ties with Ye following his ongoing anti-Semitic remarks. Balenciaga, 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 whatever, who Ye has supported openly, calling its creative director Dana his straight husband, and Gap, who just 5 months ago placed Yeezy Gap engineered by Valencia, about Balenciaga, is Balenciaga or Valenciaga, whatever, pop-ups in cities like New York and LA, also stopped working with Ye and discontinued sales of his products. Despite this, Scafidi believes that from a business perspective, now y'all listen to this now. From a business perspective, there is still an opportunity for Ye to find success in the fashion world independently. Independent. Hit it on the one. Whoo! Independent. See, he breaking the chains, getting away from the slave master, right? Ye has just graduated from fashion higher education. That is to say, he just graduated from Gap and Adidas. If he and his team have been smart along the way, and I suspect they have, he's been able to observe up close exactly how all of this is done, says Scafidi. It is easy to set up your own supply chains, to find the factories, to figure out the shipping and channels of distribution, to create brick and mortar stores, to create all of that infrastructure. No, it's not easy, but we're talking about Yeezy. No, it's not easy, but we're talking about Yeezy. If anyone can do it, it will be Ye. Okay. I'm adding all the ad libs, okay? Y'all ain't hearing this. Kanye was made for this. Big corporations like Adidas and Gap will go on without Ye, despite the massive cultural impact that his collaborative relationship had. It's likely that Ye will continue his fashion endeavors independently, something he has long said he strived to do in the first place. Given that Adidas owns the designs and Ye owns the trademark, how will each entity move forward? To make sense of the situation, we spoke with Scafidi, okay, who detailed that what Ye can and can't do with his designs, the president this situation has on future brand partnerships, and more. Read our full conversation below. And I'm going to share this. I'm not going to read this whole thing, but I just want you to get an idea. You got to think different, do different things, sometimes get different results. So I'm going to post this in the chat. See, I don't understand the fashion business and any business. I don't care if they do own the designs. People buying it because of his name. Your name is everything, man. They buying them ugly shoes. Cause I don't care for Yeezys, but I got a sneakerhead cousin that told me about how Yeezys were just as popular, if not bigger in some cases, than Michael Jordan shoes. Yeezy is doing what Michael Jordan should have done with Nike, because Nike was saved by Michael Jordan, just like black exploitation movies saved Hollywood. Just like Death Row Records saved Interscope. Interscope was going out of business before they took Death Row, before they divide and conquer Dick Griffey and Suge Knight. See, we got to know the history, man. We don't understand was that play. A lot of us think too small. A lot of us think about some bag. Kanye said, forget a bag. I want the factory that produces the bag. I want to own the factory that produces the bag. He's trying to create his own currency. Ye knows exactly what's going on. Y'all keep on saying his mama died. How many of y'all parents passed on? Grief is like I don't think you never get over losing people, but you still got to get on with the act of living. And his mom put a battery in his back years ago. She knew her son was gifted and was meant to shake the world up. I shook up the world. I shook up the world. They call Muhammad Ali crazy. Anybody that do something that's different, that questions so-called normalcy and society norms, you crazy. Why is it that Frederick Douglass knew that he was supposed to be more than somebody's slave? But yeah, he had so many people around him. See, a lot of slaves were very smart. Y'all know, I know y'all don't think Eli Whitney actually invented the cotton gin. Black people invented the cotton gin. Like, you think the Bahari brothers didn't write those songs? They stole it from B.B. King and Ike Turner and John Lee Hooker and so many other black folks. But when you point that out, that's a problem. That's why black folks, you always put your head in the ground, not want to look around and see what's going on. It's time to see what's going on. Turn out the fool's ball. I don't care who's ranked whatever in college football. I don't care if the Lakers ever win another championship. I don't care, because black folks been catching hell and nobody ain't trying to bring any water to put it out. And shout out to Floyd Mayweather Jr. and to Jason Whitlock for being men, for not throwing their brothers under the bus. These black men, how much money you need? Bunch of media whores. How much y'all need, man? Y'all, that's sorry. I never had to beg like that. I only had one good year making money. The IRS trying to mess with me on that 1 year. So I'm used to not having that. I may be broke, but I'm not broken. A lot of y'all got money and broke in. Broke in and broken. Broke in and broken. Broke in and broken. Enough. Enough. We tired of this foolishness. Celebrities up here don't give a damn about the people, but want to exploit the people. It was in a day when Dick Gregory knew, them guys knew their place. Dick Gregory knew his job was not to be the leader of the movement, but to help the leaders of the movement, to raise money and awareness for the leaders. He knew that he couldn't be Medgar Evers. His job was to help amplify Medgar Evers' efforts while Medgar was still walking around. Same thing Harry Belafonte did for Dr. King. But yeah, you got people like P. Diddy. They want to be the center of attention, dancing, all in your video, still doing that. That's dancing buffoons. And folks call Kanye a buffoon. But Kanye never sold out the people when it came to the integrity of his art. He is a true thought provocateur. Let me just read some of the lyrics from New Slaves. And y'all, if y'all never listened to any Kanye West song, listen to New Slaves, download the lyrics, and really study what he's saying. And then I'm about to wrap it up, man. I'll do a little bit on little thoughts on the Takeoff thing. Yeah, people are obsessed with that. Black folk, we all go into a wormhole, like some weird rabbit hole with stuff. I'm just glad they recorded. I hate that Takeoff got killed, but I'm glad that people had their camera phones out. People don't record everything. Because if y'all not gonna stop it, just record it, man. That's all I got to say. So we have evidence of what really happened, and from different angles too. Please do that. Keep recording. If you're not gonna help Eric Garner and George Floyd by saving their lives, just record them taking their lives. We're making that Black Lives Matter snuff porn. Appreciate it. I'm reading New Slaves, some of the stuff from Kanye West. He was warning us about the Rico charges. He was ahead of the game. And this is back in 2013, he was telling people about Rico. Let's see. You see, it's broke igga racism. That don't touch anything in the store. And it's rich igga racism. It's rich igga racism. That's that come in, please buy more. What you want? A Bentley, a fur coat, a diamond chain? All you blacks want all the same things. We're the biggest consumers and losers of society. We're the biggest consumers and losers of society. Okay. You see, it's leaders and it's followers, but I'd rather be an ick than a swallower. You see, it's leaders and it's followers, but I'd rather be an ick than a swallower. I love this stuff. Read this New Slave, listen to it, and read the lyrics. This stuff is amazing. Let's see. Meanwhile, the DEA teamed up with the CCA. They're trying to lock iggas up. They're trying to make new slaves. See that what's probably on prison. Get your own piece today. They probably all in the Hamptons bragging about what they made. See, he said, meanwhile, the DEA teamed up with the CCA. That's the talent agency, right? Is that Ari Emanuel's talent agency? He let you know about Rico, man. Look at Young Thug. Young Thug said allegedly that Kanye could use his 100 acres of land in Georgia to build his stores on, right? What's going on with Young Thug right now in the ATL? A lot of they're using rappers' lyrics to lock them up to get them for Rico charges, which would normally be used for real organized crime people like a John Gotti or somebody. So he already talking about that in his lyrics. Y'all say he sold us out. Mm-hmm. Let me see. See what else he said in here. You talking about New World Order? Remember, Illuminati got my mind, soul, and my body. Secret Society trying to keep the eye on me. Remember Prodigy from Mobb Deep? What they say happened to him in Vegas where they killed Tupac. He choked off an egg, right? Was that a cold? He choked off an egg. He was in the hospital to choke off an egg. What that mean? But he was like one of the first rappers to really talk about the Illuminati and all this. So I remember I love AZ. AZ as a rapper is so underrated. AZ with the Firm. AZ had some classics back in the day. I love AZ stuff. Do or Die. Just give me. He talked about the Illuminati and New World Order on his debut. This is some AZ, Do or Die. Talk about the Illuminati. It's back in the 90s. Yeah, some conscious rapping back then, even with the gangster rap crap. But yeah, check out the New Slaves. So it ain't over till it's over. Thank you, Jamil Shah. Yes, for that donation. We love you madly. And let's see what else y'all got. Yeah, he has some good stuff. I like his stuff in the end. He talked about Illuminati. And you can't even find that stuff. First, I was able to find on my streaming service some of Prodigy's last stuff, his last work he did. And it took it out the streaming platform after he died, a little bit after he died. Well, thank you for receiving. I appreciate it. I'll be teaching as long as I gotta find other avenues. Thank you so much. We love you, man. Thank y'all. Thank you, brother Steve. Love you madly. I'm trying to work on that. It's like right now, it's like I ain't want to even really do this stuff like this anymore. And now is the time. The time has come now that the people we gotta pick a side, man. We can't ride the bench like the brother. Remember Michael Jordan? What's that dude? That gotta be in a nostalgic mood right now. It was a guy from the Bulls. Yeah. Well, Cliff Livingston. Remember Cliff Livingston from the Bulls? Man, rode the bench, had splinters in his ass, but won them rings. And because he was on the team. I don't think Cliff Livingston ever got into the game. But he was talking that talk, riding that bench, getting them splinters in his ass, but still got the ring, still got the jewelry. So we can't ride the bench. We can't be Cliff Livingston no more. We got to pick. We got to engage and get into the arena. Put some sweat equity, if not blood equity, into this thing. Now, I know about Craig Hodges. Now, Craig Hodges was a rider. I love Craig Hodges. I actually met Craig Hodges in Memphis. Yeah, Craig Hodges. Not him. I'm talking about the guy who's riding the bit. Craig Hodges was a rider. He was a G. Good brother. And I interviewed him a couple times, and he was a fan of mine because I used to interview Dick Gregory all the time. And I met Craig Hodges back in 2015. Good brother. Yeah, I'm tired of it too, man. I used to love sports. I remember growing up looking at Scott Stewart on Sports Center. I used to just look at it before school, and I don't care for that stuff no more. It's just really just sad because Kyrie don't deserve this, man. This man represented USA in the Olympics. But that's how they treated Joe Louis. Joe Louis represented for the U.S. saying the IRS destroyed Joe Louis. Joe Louis gave this country his blood, sweat, and tears, gave $1 million to the government. They still sent the IRS after him. Cold game. Yeah, Craig Hodges got counseled. Yeah. Then he went to the White House with the dashiki. You know, Craig Hodges, his teacher in college was the guy who created Kwanzaa. You know what I'm talking about, Ron Karenga, for me, he's problematic. Ron Karenga, that was his professor in college, Craig Hodges. But his students, I meet a couple of his students from time to time, they good people. But then you look like a lot of major holidays, look at the people like the 4th of July. A lot of these folks were degenerates. They were gangsters and pirates and pedophiles and all that stuff, but we still celebrate their legacy. So Ron Karenga just part of that alleged group. I mean, holidays, all these holidays are based off of violence anyway. Yeah, I interviewed Craig Hodges a couple times on this platform several years ago. He's a good brother. So I'm just looking through the comments. Thank y'all for who donated and who will donate in the future. Yeah, I don't care about the ESPN. I stopped watching that several years ago. This stuff is not interesting no more. Stuff is not interesting. Y'all very active in the chats. Let me talk about, like I said, I'm going to talk about, then we can move on. Then I can close this out because it's over 2 o'clock. The time went by fast. I'll think about doing another show later on tonight, but it's probably I got a lot of videos I got to edit from the Jimmy Lunsford Legacy Awards. I got to put that out on the channel. I got some other things I want to do. But if y'all believe in what I'm doing, this is helping y'all, please feel free to donate. I need donations. Yeah. I ain't too proud to beg. Like TLC said, I ain't too proud. I'm not where I'm at. I don't got Kyrie Irving money. I don't got no Ye money. Got no Ron money. I just got to make some Ron money. The do run. The do run. Okay. Let's close it out. This year, Halloween fell on a Monday. Y'all finish out. Let's talk about this. I ain't gonna talk about this long. So some thoughts. Like, yeah. Let me apologize because I got the Brothers Prince confused. The guy with the green looking stuff on, that's actually Jazz. It's on his chain, right? You see the chain, that's Jazz. Then the one in the white, that's Junior. I had him confused last week. I'm sorry about that. But you can plainly see that's Jazz with the medallion, and then there's JR in the white. It's JR in the white. So my thing is, I don't think 50 Cent could come up with a better TV show than this. This is better than Power. What's going on right now with the power dynamic in the Prince family. It's very biblical. It's like a Cain and Abel thing, because from my understanding, from my sources, they are not on the same page, the Prince brothers, the brothers Prince. They're like, sibling rivalry is real deep. And I believe that JR mom, I don't know. See, I don't know all the dynamics of the Prince family. Like I said, I didn't know that Jazz and Junior were two different people, because I'm not really keeping up with the Prince family like that, keeping up with the Princes. I'm surprised they don't have a reality TV show, or they haven't had a reality TV show in all this time. But it's a mixture of Power, of Empire, all these TV shows, and you throw in The Godfather and some other stuff going on. They gonna have to be held accountable. I mean, they're gonna have to answer for this. This is something that we cannot sweep under the rug. Like, if this was 25, 30 years ago, they could have easily got away with this type of behavior, with this type of stuff happening. But they took out the wrong person this time. They took out Takeoff. I'm not saying them, but I'm saying the environment that they helped to create have led to the demise of our brother Takeoff. And people ain't gonna let this go. It's kind of like Houston and Atlanta always had some type of rivalry going on, from my understanding. Because y'all remember in the 2000s, right? You had T.I. and Little Flip go at it. You remember when the BET had on them beef shows? They came out in the 2000s, I think. And you had like T.I. and Little Flip going at it. And I like Little Flip. I like Cloverleaf, whatever. Because Houston, at one point, they had, I don't know what happened in Houston. Houston had the rap game in their hands. They had the rap game. You had Little Flip. You had Mike Jones, who? Slim Thug, Chamillionaire, Paul Wall. They all was hitting it back to back to back. And what happened, Houston? Y'all dropped the ball. Like, y'all sacrificed DJ Screw for what? Y'all, Houston had their little thing, but then they fell off. I don't know what happened to Houston. Then, Atlanta is Atlanta, no? You know who Atlanta done? The Dungeon Family, the Outkast, Goody Mob, Yin Yang, even Yin Yang in this thing. I ain't know that. I've been reading some on Takeoff how he was inspired by the Yin Yang twins, and people sleep on Yin Yang. Yin Yang had some anthems. Yin Yang in this thing. What's up while you twerk? And like some hip hop Smurfs or something. What's up while you twerk? Yin Yang in this thing. Dun, 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 dun. And a whisper song. They had some jams. Atlanta had their own thing, but Crunk came from Memphis. See, they stole it from Memphis. I don't think they stole it, but what happened, Memphis is not as unified as a lot of places hip-hop scenes. So a lot of our talent went to the Atlanta, or Atlanta took some of my swag. But then you're like Little John and T.I. and Ludacris always gave shout-outs to Memphis, to Orange Mound with A.L.L and MJG. Memphis is a unique place in itself. But, it's always been a rivalry scene going on with Atlanta and Houston, because when T.I. would say, I'm the king of the South, Little Flip said, I got something to say about that, man. And they had a little back and forth. Luckily, they didn't lead to no bloodshed, but, we just lost this Takeoff in Atlanta. I mean, Takeoff's from Atlanta, met his demise in Houston, dealing with Houston rap royalty. And they're going to have to be held accountable on some level. You just can't Instagram post your way out of this, because y'all keep on talking about, when you come to my city, you got to check in. Evidently, nobody had to check in but until the Holiday Inn or to the Hyatt place. And they're not checking in with y'all because y'all can't offer no protection. And you can't get no refunds when you dead. So I have nothing really to say about this situation. People claim that the guy that hit Takeoff is no longer breathing. I don't know. It's like even with the Tupac thing. When Tupac got killed, we didn't have social media back then. The only way you could find out what was happening in the aftermath, really, of what was going on in South LA, because Tupac got killed in Vegas, but the stuff really set off South LA. A lot of people got killed behind that after Tupac got killed in LA. I mean, in Vegas. A lot of folks lost their lives. Eventually, Orlando Anderson will lose his life almost 2 years later. And you think about Orlando Anderson, he's been dead for a while, but he got grandkids now. He had a lot of kids, but he probably got grandkids, which is crazy to think about. And Tupac had no kids. Takeoff had no kids. Offset got a lot of kids. I don't think Quavo got any kids. That's crazy, man. That's sad. But the music, the beat goes on. But yeah, this interest. But now I'm more interested in the family dynamics of the Prince family. Because allegedly, the guy who was the hitter that took out Takeoff, his father worked with Jay Prince Sr. for a long time, at least over 20 years. So, but yeah, my thing is kind of weird. Is like they don't believe in keeping a low profile. Like, from my understanding, they was out there celebrating when the Houston Astros won the World Series. At least Jazz was, according to some vloggers that be keeping up with this. And then the fact that Jay Prince Jr. will be involved in another high-profile murder, be connected to it, involving like some type of dice game that he was a part of or organized. That's kind of strange. You have that back-to-back, and you okay with that player? Like, to me, I'll be trying to keep a low profile. All this stuff. I'll be paranoid to be out. But I don't know if are they gonna be able to check in Atlanta? Knowing all this going on. Can they go to Chicago? I guess they could go to Chicago. I guess they okay. Larry Hoover and all that. I don't know. I don't know these street politics. I'm not in the streets like that. But I just don't know. I'm calling it a day. That's what but I just want to I'm sorry about getting the brothers twisted. So the one in the green looking thing, that's Jazz. The one in the white is JR. But to me, the one in the green should be like JR to me. That's me. But you can see their medallions. But when I do the podcast audio version, nobody ain't gonna know. I just flip the pictures. But on here, I just wanted to clear that up. Thank you. But I got it, folks. I'm just looking at y'all. Yeah, but I just talked about though. See, it's not about hip hop. Tupac said Igga's been dying for years, so how can they blame us? Igga's been dying for years, so how can they blame us? See, I talked about Arnold Rothstein. He was known for shooting dice and gambling and stuff. Arnold Rothstein is the godfather of organized crime. He got killed over a dispute at a dice game. This is a Jewish guy. It's back in November 6, 1928. The money, in today's money, he lost his life over $5.5 million. If you adjust the money that he said he owed as a gambling debt, and then he betted on the national elections. He betted that Herbert Hoover was going to win. He died on election day because he was trying to argue allegedly that, hey, man, if y'all don't take this money from me, can y'all wait till after the elections are over because I'll get paid. He had a big payday coming when Hoover won. He won when he bet on the election that year in 1928. He won close to what would be almost $10 million in today's money. But he died. He got killed. He died on election day. He got shot November 4th and he died in the hospital November 6th. And he never told the police who actually killed him. He took it to his grave. But he won big on election day. He won almost $10 million. But he couldn't spend it. A dead man, dead man don't need no money. So, and you got to understand too, the definition of a ghetto, ghettos were defined as places in Europe where Jews live. Ghettos were not, the way we think about ghettos now, back then, ghettos were places where Jews lived in Europe. The Rothschild dynasty was born out of the German ghetto. The Rothschild banking dynasty was born out of the German ghetto. See, Jews, their religion talks about being family first, investing in your people. The Rothschild people was marrying their nieces and stuff. They kept that money all in the family for real, for real. They was marrying their nieces and everything, cousins and everything. They keep all that in the family. Now, you had two prominent great jazz musicians die in the presence of a Rothschild that was nicknamed the Jazz Baroness. Charlie Parker died in her apartment at the Stanhope Hotel, March 12, 1955. Thelonious Monk died in her mansion in New Jersey, February 17, 1982. And then we just lost Barry Harris, a great bebop pianist who used to have free jazz lesson classes up in New York City. I was planning to go to New York to go to one of his jazz classes, to meet him, to give him a Jimmy Lunsford Legacy Award, to meet him and get some lessons from a true master. And he died, I think, last year. Because they had a New York Times article about him doing these jazz classes. I think it came out in 2020. But yeah, Barry Harris, a black man, she left her mansion to him. He died in that mansion in New Jersey, I think, like last year. But anyway, that's all for today, folks. Yeah, but the thing about it is, a lot of folks like to say that, but not do the work. And like what Ye has proven is that he's willing to do the work. Like he talked about how he was on the outside looking in the fashion industry about 7 years ago. Now he's part of the fashion industry. And now he's taking it to the next level where he's actually going to have his own house of Ye. Like y'all be talking about Versace and all them. He's going to have his own house of Ye. Ye's going there. And I'm cheering for him. I'm not like a lot of people with all this stuff. Because y'all keep on saying he should be quiet. Don't you know how many black folks got killed because they just exist? You know how many black business people were killed because they had their economics together. Their economics was on point. Think about the people's grocery lynchings in Memphis. Think about the Tulsa Race Massacre in 1921. Think about Rosewood in 1923. Think about Isidore Banks. Isidore Banks was a black man in Arkansas, World War I veteran, owned 3,000 acres of land. The white folks killed him and ran his family out of Arkansas. His granddaughter just texted me today. So I'm saying, oh, but Brother Ron is problematic because Brother Ron won't let you forget. And the thing about it is, y'all think that because we remember our ancestors and history, that means you bitter. No, I do this because it makes me better. It makes me stronger. It makes me more determined. It makes me more resilient. Like the Jewish people said, never forget, never forget, never forget. Okay? I'm going to keep on doing what I'm doing. But y'all just keep on thinking that if you be quiet and you don't bother them, they don't see you, they ain't going to get you. They're going to get you because you got what you want. You got what they want. You got something inside of you. You don't even understand what you have. And you afraid to access that light and let the light shine for the world to see. So anyway. Yeah, y'all talking about what work Kanye. I ain't even getting all that, man. Y'all see that's all apples and oranges. Speak on. I'm gonna continue to speak on it because now's the time, man. You got to pick a side, black people. As much as y'all are passionate about the Green Bay Packers and the Cowboys and the Steelers, and you passionate about Alabama football, bring that passion when it comes to not only preserving your life, but also bettering your life. Be as enthusiastic. Be your number one best friend and fan when it comes to excelling as it relates to your life and helping invest and cheer on your family because we all be in it to win it. So thank you, everybody, for being very patient. I think I touched on everything that I wanted to touch on. I think I did. I don't know. I said I don't know. I don't know, man. I live a very interesting life. I don't know if people understand. I actually do be working a lot, but I don't know if I get anything accomplished. I'm being productive, but I have a lot on my plate. Sometimes when I wake up in the morning, I just sit still for 30 minutes. I say, God, why I'm not crying right now? Why can I not cry for myself? I just can't feel sorry for myself because like this ain't gonna last forever. So make the most of it. Disclaimer: the views expressed by host and guests on the We All Be TV platform are not the official views, opinions, beliefs, or perspectives of We All Be News or the We All Be Group Incorporated. We All Be News is an organization that thoroughly believes in supplementing the information narrative that is usually supplied by the corporate news entities with those viewpoints and expressions which may be marginalized or ignored for a plethora of reasons. We are about informing the general public on alternative perspectives as it relates to news and information, and letting the general public be the ultimate judge in deciding on how to use said information. Informed citizens are responsible citizens. Thank you for your support. Thank you, everybody. In the words of the great Duke Ellington, keep on producing and pushing. And in the words of your friend, Brother Ron. Oh, and that's my words. The words of great Duke Ellington. I'm out. We love you madly. In the words of your brother, dear Brother Ron, keep on producing and pushing. And thank you all for donations. People that donated. I'm sorry I didn't read through all the comments. I'll look at the comments later. Thank you all for participating active in the chat room, my chat room friends, family, because we all be in it to win it, tribe. So thank y'all for y'all patience, for y'all love, for y'all understanding, consideration. Thank you so much. Reading is key. Thank you so much. Thank you all. God bless. And keep on keeping on. Wise words from Brother Ron. See how it works?